you see what's going on in front. They ain't no. Yeah, but when I remember, my time, I was in Angola during the hurricane. And man, you have a lot of free folk, man, dude, to tell you, man. They got a lot of free folk. They come there just to make your time worse, to make dudes' time worse. And I can recall that time, man, when that hurricane hit, you know what I'm saying, and there was, dudes, me myself, dudes trying to locate family. Dudes trying to make sure, we was gonna be all right. To be honest with you, shit, you know what I'm saying? Because we had lost power in the penitentiary. And, a lot of us was hoping that, we'd be straight. But, man, it was a lot of just being open, you know what I'm saying? Thank God everything turned out good, you know what I'm saying? Because God had some favorable ones in there, but at the same time, if people want to know how was the correctional officers, treating the inmates, how were they handling it? You know what I'm saying? Because they had, the storm came inland. You know what I'm saying? Some families was affected as far as Mississippi, but for the most part, you had a lot of, those same correctional officers, free folks who were present prior to the storm, who had the same mentality of my job is to go to work and make their time as miserable as possible. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you did wrong on the street to get you here, it's my job as a correctional officer to make your time as miserable as possible.
What does it feel like 20 years ago?
I've been trying to call the hotel, but check up, dude.
Yeah, it was hard for, we had power to where, we watched images on television. I knew CNN was one of our favorite, one of our main sources of getting the news coverage of what was going on. And when we seen the devastation at the Superdome, it was Mercedes-Hill. It was also a little friction between New Orleans inmates and inmates from other places who wasn't affected, who was not affected. A lot of them was, I guess I want to say, use that opportunity to, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, the motherfucker deserved that. And you had some confrontations that took place in Angola during that time. Well, like I said, you had dudes who were from other places who, wasn't affected by the storm that, use that opportunity where, the inside prison beef, animosity. Well, yeah, I was straight. My family, they were straight. They allowed us to thank God to whoever, the government, FEMA, whoever. We were able to make phone calls to get in contact with our family. To make sure they were okay. I know, speaking of my story, I know a lot of people. I won't mention no name. Let them tell their own story. Who lost, whole families was wiped out. Who family were fortunate enough to leave. I can recall me, because my big sister, Catrice, her birthday is August 30th. And thankfully, so my family, they used that opportunity to skip town. So, I didn't have any casualties of Hurricane Katrina. So I had my nephew. He came up missing, but he wasn't missing. He was he probably getting loot on. But yeah, I had still got a pair of Jabot, man. You ain't got a pair of Jabot. Listen, bro, you a nigga, you a real nigga, OG for the night. You ain't got a pair of Jabot in your stash, man. You know what I'm saying? Wear overnight low. Man, you ain't a real night nigga, man. But yeah, bro, the Katrina situation in prison, man, overall, then you seen other inmates coming from the city. I saw some folks, some of my people, you know what I'm saying, who came to the penitentiary that were evacuees from the jail houses down here. You know know what I'm saying? Some people, you know, of course, you haven't seen it forever. But, you know, it was a thing for me because, like I said, I was incarcerated at 8 years at the time. And I can recall, you know, that encounter with dudes who people, who motherfuckers had heard about. You know what I'm saying? Names that, you know, people had heard about on the street. And here it is, Hurricane Katrina that wiped you out, made you a refugee when you had to shoot to the penitentiary, a place that you probably would never ever be because you ain't never old drug dealer, misdemeanor ass nigga. But here it is, you seeing people, and I'm just looking at the, you know what I'm saying, the art on motherfucking face from seeing dudes who, oh man, that's such and such, I died for feel. That's such and such from Uptown, that's such and such from Park River, stuff like that, boy. Yeah, boy, we all us New Orleans, the inmates, and Angola, we stuck together. You know what I'm saying? We already had, you know, camaraderie. We were already close, but that brought us closer to where, you know, a lot of us were making calls, who was able to get in contact with people, who was able to, you know what I'm saying, help others to contact others. And, you know, a lot of us were fortunate. I'm gonna tell you this here. See, when FEMA went to cutting them check, moving too fast. But when FEMA went to cutting them check, boy, there ain't no guy. Nigga went to getting packages from every. But yeah, we was all right, man. God, I'm just be straight up, man. The only bad part that I can say that I experienced inside Angola was you had a few correctional officers who did not hang up that fucked up character, that actor. You know, that motherfucker that come to work every day being a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you had some of them that, you know, they used that opportunity to, yeah, motherfucker.